Hello, and thanks for joining us for step 2 of goal and business planning. Let's go on to number 2, the action goal worksheet, carrying over from the basic goal setting worksheet. This is where we hold ourselves accountable. If we're not holding ourselves accountable, we need to have someone do that for us. Quite frankly, most people get through the basic goal setting worksheet and they say, hey, I need to make $100,000 a year. That means I've got to sell 45 houses. All right, yeah, let's go. But from then on, that's when it stops. They never look at it again. They never hold themselves accountable, and they never break it down to a monthly goal and then again to a weekly goal. They do the first start of the plan, but from that point forward, they fail to continue the planning sessions and the follow-up that's necessary. For this session, make sure that you have the action goal worksheet in a PDF format or as a member of RookieSuccess.com in the fully executable file for your modification in front of you. And let's get to it. Notice I've already put in our $100,000 GCI target. So let's talk about what we need to do and what we took from the other part of it to make that happen. Well, we decided that we needed 18 seller closings. Is that correct? From those 18 seller closings, we found out that we needed a certain number of contracts, and that was based on the conversion rate, and that's 26. From those seller contracts, we found out that we needed a certain number of appointments as well. And what I've done is rounded up just for ease and to make sure that happens. The number of contacts that's needed. Well, let's hold off for there for a second, and let's go and fill in the buyer closings that we need, the buyer contracts that we need, the buyer appointments that we need. Now let's go back and find out how many contacts we need for sellers, how many leads we need, how many contacts for buyers, and how many leads. Because this is going to get you down to what you need to focus on a daily basis. Well, let's say that if you have a certain number of appointments that you need to make, and that's 37. This next number is a conversion factor from the number of contacts, in other words, the number of people that you actually speak with, to the amount of appointments that is going to result in. This is going to come down to your skill, and the more you do it, the more people you talk to, and quite frankly, the more that you listen to those who have done it and memorize the scripts and dialogues. It's funny, when I talk about scripts and dialogues, I've heard people mention that, oh gosh, I don't use any scripts and dialogues, and these are top salespeople in the country. Well, I say at that point in time, well, let's role play, and I want to hear, how you would handle some of these situations. Every single time that we have role played, they have come up with something that is very good and right off the top of their head. The funny thing is that I've heard it before from someone else. What they've done is they've been doing it so long and they've internalized it so well that it's no longer considered a script or dialogue. It's theirs. They own it. And that's exactly what you should do and what we'll work with and for on RookieSuccess.com. All of the files on how to take people from a lead to a contact to an appointment to a contract to a closing is in video and audio form on RookieSuccess.com. Seller contacts again. Let's say you can convert 20% of the people that you speak with to an actual appointment. 20%, quite frankly, is low if you are very good. But what that's going to do is if you need 37 appointments, that's going to mean that you need 185 contacts. And you find that by taking 37, dividing it by 0.2, which is 20%, which comes up to 185. Now here's the other part. How many leads do you need to generate to get 185 people that you actually speak with? Well, usually it's a 40% conversion rate. If you follow the correct follow-up procedures and continue to do that. 185 divided by 40% or 0.4, 463. For some people, this may be a low number. For those who are good and have the right systems, it could be a high number. Again, it's going to depend on you. Then notice the same number of appointments for buyers and sellers. So it's pretty easy to figure out how many contacts and how many leads that you need on that one as well. 185. 463. Now, from this point, what do you need to do? Well, let's fill out this part right here as well. And I'm going to go ahead and just give you this number for achieving $100,000 in your pocket. Again, remember, we've kind of changed this, and because of the 50-50 split that we assumed in the basic goal setting worksheet, we've taken this GCI number, and this should actually be what you make, or at least within about 10%, depending on if you do these parts and you keep your expenses at the right place, because your GCI will be much higher than what this number is right here. From experience, you can make $100,000 a year with basic advertising and marketing expenses of $2,400, and that is for the entire year. You're not going to need a team member, because I'll show you how to get around doing that, especially at this level, because the bottom line is your net income. But your net income at this point in time should be anywhere between $85,000 and $100,000 for this year if you follow the models and systems that we have for you. Let's take this down. So what do you do from here? You go for the monthly goals. And I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second, because this is just basic division. Remember, we're dividing by 11 on each of these, not by 12, because we're only working 11 of the days. Excuse me, not 11 days, 11 months out of the year. Wouldn't it be nice to only work 11 days out of the year? Hey, if you continue, and that's a goal, you can do it. So as you noticed, what we've done is we've taken the annual goals and we've divided each of these by 11, and here's the results right here. $8,333 a month coming to you, 42 seller leads, 19 seller contacts from those leads, 3.5 seller appointments, 2.5 seller contracts, 1.5 seller closings. Same numbers almost over here, 42, 17, 3.5, 3, and 2.5. Remember, you're doing more buyers than you are sellers just as the rookie year. As you increase, and if you start concentrating more on the listings, which of course you should be doing, and you'll get more and more into that as you get more experience, you will see these numbers change. You'll see a lot more seller leads, a lot more seller contacts and closings, because it's a whole lot better to have all of the other realtors working for you than you working for them. And that's basically what it is. If you've got listings, all the other realtors are working for you. If you've got buyers, you're working for them. So let's keep going, and let's go down to the next section. A lot of times people will look at, oh my gosh, I've got to generate almost 900 leads to do that. Well, how do I do that? Well, you break it down. So that's only 84 leads that you actually need to make. And quite frankly, that's kind of easy, and we can show you how to do that. Do you know the average realtor only gets incoming calls of 22 to 24 per month? Well, this is 4 times that. We can show you how to easily make it 4 times that and make it even more than that. Again, I'm going to pause it while I fill it out from this point forward, and you do the same thing. Pause, divide each of these numbers by 4. Do not put them in these weeks. Just go for week number 1. All right, we're back. So by this time, you have divided all of your monthly goals by 4. Sometimes as a rookie, when you look at these big numbers, you think, oh my gosh, that's a lot. What am I doing? But then an interesting thing happens. What does this mean? That means that you only have to generate 10 leads a week to make these numbers, to make your $100,000 in your pocket actually happen. 10 leads a week. That's 4.2 seller contacts. That's less than 1 appointment a week. Almost half a contract a week. Less than half a closing. Same thing on the buyer side. 10 buyer leads, 4.2 contacts, 1 buyer appointment, Less than one contract, less than one closing. Here's the interesting thing. You have $55 that you can spend each week to make this happen. Well, if you do, it works. You can make it happen. That includes everything that you need to make $100,000 per year, and you can do this in your first year. Join us, find out how, and let's put it to work.